Good morning, everybody. It is time for Around the County, heard each Tuesday just after the 11 o'clock news, right here on WBRT Radio. Around the County is brought to you by Joe Hill's Power Sports and Outdoor Equipment. Joe Hill's makes this show possible.
Good morning, Roth.
Good morning. We have the Judge-Executive in, and again today, a guest.
Yeah, I brought Adam Wheatley with me as a magistrate of the, what district is that, number 2?
Number 2.
Number 2, 2nd District. And so we just had fiscal court meeting at 9, and they were teasing me because I was rushing today. And one of them said, well, we need to start moving this radio show up so I can get out there even earlier. I said, oh, my goodness. Actually, I had a little more discussion. I want to get in a little bit more in depth today on some projects, and so we had to pretty much rush out of there. So that's okay. And so I brought Adam. I know we had Justin Hall last week, and I will be inviting all the different magistrates.
Nobody else wanted to follow Justin.
Coming in, yeah.
I got stuck.
The only one that can talk as much or as long as Justin Hall would be this one. So that's why I brought him today, number 2.
I have no response.
But anyway, thanks to Joe Hill's Power Sports, and that's appreciate them being the sponsor here, and want to always thank them. And then 348-2222, 348-2222. We'll take phone calls and or text throughout the show. You do not have to give out your name if you choose not to. So you want to
Let's take a moment to hear a word from Joe Hills, and everybody get settled in. We'll be back with more of the show right here in just a moment. We are back with more of Around the County here on WBRT Radio. And by the way, replay of this will be coming up later this week. You'll be able to watch it watch for the links on our Facebook page, and also I think Judge,
we run them. Yes, also. We run them on the fiscal court, and then I don't really get on the Facebook personally too much, but we put them on all of our pages, and then we also the Gazette. You and Mr. Jim Brooks, they run them on the Gazette, so somebody can link into them all, and so we'll get. Actually, I've got quite a bit of response since I think it's our 8th show, maybe 7 or 8. And when I left last week, I talked about the Airbnb proposal, which did get turned down. It did not pass, thank goodness. It's a big deal we've been working on, and just basically all of our contacts.
That was at state level, by the way, right?
Yes, it was at state level. But I had some people call me and text me after this show, which surprised me on a few of them, saying that trying to understand the Airbnbs, and so it means somebody's listening is what I'm getting at. And I think this show was trying to get, our goal is to be transparent and get as much information as we can out to the public, and that's why we're here. So you got any texts come in yet?
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure. It says I don't think it's a question. Take a peek.
348-2222.
Said don't think that has anything to do with you, but I had a question that regards the food trucks parked in the middle of the road in front of Mammy's Kitchen. I think they're talking about delivery food trucks,
like Gordon's and stuff.
And is it legal for them to do that? And
well, what I know about it, I think it is, and the city, I don't know what the city's ordinance states exactly, but you get in these small towns or any town in where it's highly dense and traffic, and they have to get the products to the businesses somehow, and I know it does cause some traffic problems sometimes, but.
Well, and UPS, FedEx, they all do it. It's not just the food service delivery.
Yeah, but anybody wants to ask any questions to Adam, and Adam can elaborate on anything countywide, not just his district. So we've got had a strong meeting today, a lot of information, a lot of things went on. We had a lot of moving parts, so I think it was a very good meeting, actually.
I did have one thing that I am required to say today, that it's April 1st, it's April Fool's Day, and yes, it is my wife's birthday, so I wanted to wish her a happy birthday.
April Fool's Day, happy birthday. I bet she gets a lot of them throughout the time when people calling, talking about that.
Apparently I was the biggest April Fool's gift she had. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the projects in Adams district, him and I both went to the judges conference. I don't know if was that the judges conference we went to about a month or so ago, and I talked about it on here, and there's a bridge in his area down in what they call the old Woodlawn area. And I said about it, we've talked about it before, and that was, we applied for that through the state because that's 100%. And they pay 100% of that one because there is some 80-20 programs out there that we're going to be applying for also, but the county does not have the resources to replace these bridges on these county roads. It's tough. And
and this is one of the few one-lane bridges that still exist. There are still a few out there, but not only is this a one-lane bridge, but it's also in a curve. So it's a complicated maneuver to get through there, and this will really help the traffic flow and ease a few nerves going through that bridge.
yeah.
They're going to straighten it and widen it. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll be minor on both ends, but yes. The biggest downfall is it's probably a 2-month project, and I live about 2 miles past that bridge, as well as many other people. It's going to interfere with our daily life for about 2 months, but after that's over, it'll be a great improvement, and we'll be happy to have it.
Well, the safety part of it, that's
Absolutely.
When you look at these bridges, and we've talked about the one out on 62, and they did Woodline, bridge over they replaced that deck on the overpass back last year, and
on 605.
It definitely makes it's traffic problem. That bridge was about $339,000, I think.
The one that the new one. Yes,
yeah.
yes, sir.
And you're getting the state to come in, and we're working on 2 more. I feel pretty confident we'll get 1 more, and I forget the name of that road, what we talked about earlier. Adam, what was that one we applied for? We said it in court today. I get all these roads mixed up, but they've been the state. We've got a pretty good relationship with them up there, and Bobby Joe Lewis, he's the commissioner, and that day we were up there, it just makes a difference when you go talk and communicate and look at each other in the eye, and she told me that day, says, "Judge, you're my favorite judge." But I bet she says that a lot.
I'm sure she does. So I was at the Magistrates Conference in Lexington just last week, and spoke with her again, and also had a conversation with Jonathan Shell, our Agriculture Commission, about a couple events going on here, and it's good to have that contact with the people at the state level so that they know who we are, where we are, and if we need something, we know who to call, and they know who we are.
Yeah, it's just, it's important to build a good relationship, and I think we've achieved that pretty good so far, and we've got a lot of projects going on, so I'll talk about one thing that I did today in the court is I've got a third party, actually, plus myself, and we're looking in I guess we'll say a feasibility study is trying to get as much information as I can to get out of the health department. We are going to pay about $1,250,000 this year appropriations to the health department. Next year it'll be $1 million. What I say? It's about $150,000 per year. It increases, and it's based on our property values of the county. So it's been going up about 12% per year. So just in a few years, that thing will be up to $2 million, what we have to write a check for basically to the state or the Lincoln Trail Area Development, or not the development, the health district, to operate that health department. So, and I've talked about this actually when I first came in office, and we've talked about it previously in some of the court meetings, even way back. Now, we are the only health department in the 8 counties that belong to this district that does not have a health department tax. Only one. So the other ones don't. The other counties, I've never really heard them say or complain or talk about anything that's that's concerned. But I'm highly concerned about it because we're going to lose that $2 million barrel tax here. It's going to start sliding away and lose it, and So I'm looking at every single office and department in the county. And I don't know if we can do it cheaper, run it cheaper, or whatever. But and then also they don't pay us any lease on the building down there that we provide. It's about $100,000 a year. So 10 years, that's $1 million that we could be getting. So just to be transparent, I'm looking at doing this study, and I'm not saying we're pulling out or whatever, but we're going to try to see where we can have to save some money there, and just absolutely have to do it.
When you say a health department tax, is that on property tax?
It's additional tax.
Yeah, I'm not proposing that. I'm just saying that's what we don't have versus other
That the others
communities.
do have, yeah.
It just makes it tough. I mean, and then so I'm looking into that, and I should have a pretty good feasibility study back to me here in a month or so, and then I'll start analyzing it, and then probably have a lot of detailed discussions on that. And then we pay all their overhead down. They pay the minor, maintenance and things on it, but we've got to pay the insurance on that building, and I can't, and all the maintenance on that building, and I mean it's cost the county a lot of money, and. So anyway, that's one of the big subjects we talked about in court today. We had several people talk about had Jerry James talking about the Veterans Park out there that's really moving along, and that's a good project. I had Gary Bishop talking about the recycling that we're really moving along on, that we've got a good committee working and trying to improve that and expanding. So had a good meeting today.
I believe we have a caller on the phone, trying to see if everybody's got their headphones on in the building. There we go. And let's go to the phone. Good morning, and thanks for calling.
I can't hear nothing.
Let's see.
I'm not plugged in, Adam.
Don't know that our caller's here either. So, caller, we don't hear you. Are you there?
It's April Fool's.
It must be. Now it's on hold. Let's try it again. Caller, are you there?
Yes, sir. Are you there?
Yeah, go. I've got you.
Go right ahead.
Everybody turn him
Got
up.
me?
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, this is Judge.
Yeah, this is Tim Hutchins. Yes, sir.
Hey, this is Reed Larkspur.
How you doing there, Mayor?
Hey, we had a little trouble on these sirens over here last week.
Yeah, had some trouble with some sirens.
Sirens?
The emergency sirens.
Yes.
They've addressed that.
Nobody on the west end of town heard it.
That last week.
Yeah.
We brought that up. I think they've addressed that. Did he say that one's the one where the battery is
The terminal was
connectors or
rusted
something?
or
Terminals.
corroded.
Yeah.
Probably so.
Fairfield sirens. So anytime you read, all you got to do is call up there and let us know anytime, anything you see. So.
Yeah, well, that's the only time it went off, but they heard it on up there at the firehouse. They could hear that way out the road.
Yeah.
So we didn't hear nothing here in town on the west side.
Maybe you got to turn your hearing aid up a little bit.
Well, I thought I had it up.
So apparently a reading came back to the EMA department, and they realized that siren hadn't been working, and they went and checked it, and the connectors that power it were corroded, and they did clean that up and make sure that it is working now.
Yeah. There was two of them. I think there was another one that had a battery issue. But anyway, yeah, that's we've got a bunch of sirens all over the county. I think we said we had 14 countywide, and we got 8 more we're going to put up, and we've got more than most counties around us. And so anyway, yeah, we'll address that, Reed. Everything else good with you?
I guess so. Right now it'd be all right.
If you get any extra revenue over there that you want to send our way, we could use it.
Oh, well, that pays the mayor when you get any extra.
All right, have a good day.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Reed Marksberry, he's the Fairfield mayor, and been a good friend of mine for a long time. We actually did a lot of construction work together over the years, and he's really put his heart and soul into Fairfield since he's been the mayor. We've helped him. We've attempted to help him and done a lot of help with our inmate program, and they just don't have, they just don't have the resources. And so we've done a lot of projects with Fairfield, helped them out a lot, and I feel like we did, and you've done a lot of work over there, really. Any more calls, Ralph?
We're clear.
We're clear.
Okay, we do have a text. I'll give my best shot at reading it. In regards to firearms, I'm aware that anyone can use a firearm out in the county, but in and around subdivisions, target practicing for sometimes 4 hours at a time is very dangerous and annoying when family present to have a cookout. This usually occurs on Saturday afternoons, again, when that cookout would be. Is there something like an ordinance that would limit the amount of time a firearm can be used for target practicing or practicing?
I don't really understand the question. Do you understand it, Adam?
What I think he's saying is that they're having a family outing and another neighbor is target practicing.
Right. For
firearms.
Oh, you said firearms.
Firearms. It sounded like he said fire alarms, but yeah, firearms.
Okay. Yeah.
And a subdivision in the county has no different regulations unless the subdivision is a...
No, and the subdivision could also be next to a more rural area where somebody's doing some target practicing.
Well, I've had, since I've been here, a few complaints similar to this I've had to address, and we've went out and asked some people, and I think to date, most of them's been pretty responsible and has worked out pretty good. There's not an ordinance, and you go in and trying to pass an ordinance on restricting firearms. That'd be pretty strong language in this community, especially. Mm-hmm. And the city, you can't shoot firearms in a city, Bardstown city limits. I'm assuming it's the same way as in New Haven. I don't know all the city, but the county, even in the subdivision setting, it's still they consider that the county, not a city. So there's not any restrictions in there. But if it's a safety thing. There's some things they can address. If somebody's shooting in around the subdivision with safety, it's pretty dangerous in my opinion. But
yeah, if it's a safety, but this is also kind of an example where it's a good policy to have good relations with your neighbors. If I had a neighbor that was having some kind of event and I didn't know about it and we were shooting, they could call and we would stop. If you've got a good relationship with your neighbors, it would be good to communicate that and try to work it out that way. And I know some areas and some neighborhoods have group texts and group chats and that kind of stuff. And if somebody said, "Hey, we're having an event here, we, appreciate keeping keeps us down that day from these hours."
We're going back to the telephone line. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Ross and Adam and Judge.
How you doing?
Quick question, Tim. I was watching fiscal court this morning, and you were near the end. You were talking about the health department and the fee that the county has been paying and how that's increasing.
Jim Brooks.
And that the other counties have health department taxes. So my question is, and just curious, are you planning to propose that Nelson County have a health department tax?
That's a big no. And what I'm looking at is what I'm trying to do is find out how much usage. I did a little research about 6 months ago and asked a lot of questions. And when you become judge, you're automatically on a bunch of these committees and boards, and which I have no problem with. I think a lot of times, just because we're scheduled to meet, there's a lot of discussions about things that. I don't like to meet just for socialize. I think there's way too many meetings.
Yeah.
And a lot of different programs. But back to this one, I do ask a lot of questions. I've been to several of those meetings, and there's several. I'm not going to say several, but there is some programs internally that I don't really agree with, and sometimes I think everybody runs things a little bit different. I know I try to run things more efficient and more as a business side. So I'm looking, like I said, it's not just because of the health department or whatever. I've tried to look and research every committee, every department that's under the fiscal court umbrella. I basically campaigned on that, and I'm trying to hold up my promise that I was trying to check everything that we do in the county to see if we can do it better and more efficient and save taxpayers money. So that's one of the things that I'm doing now. About 6 months ago, I did send an email out to the health department leadership, and to be quite honest about it, I didn't get the answers that I wanted. So I'm digging a little deeper and see how much activity we have. Some health departments have a lot more use than some counties. But there's no doubt that we need to check this out because it's going up about 12% a year every year. And like I said, it'll be up to $2 million before you can blink an eye.
Right.
And it's going up about I'd say about $125,000 to $150,000 per year. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So we're gonna, I'm not saying we can run it cheaper or manage it better. I'm not saying that yet, but when I do this feasibility study, I'll have more details, and then we'll just have to address it and analyze it, and we'll see what happens.
Right.
But I am not proposing a new tax. No, it's just that would be not good. I'm just not. We got to live with it.
I would hate to bring this up, but if they did have their own tax, they would be subject to the compensating rate in a limit of 4%, and they could not increase by 12%.
Right. Good point. All right. Well, I wasn't sure where you were going with it, but I knew that a new tax didn't sound likely under a Hutchins administration.
No, that's probably not. That wouldn't work with me, I don't think. But
No.
all right, thanks for the call.
All right. Thank you, Tim, and thank you, Adam.
There we go. 348-2222. If you text, you do need to add the 502 area code in front of that.
Back on the anything else coming up? Joe Hill's Power Sports, again, we want to thank them throughout the show, and 348-2222 is our number here, and my office number is 348-1800, 348-1800, and you can call and ask me or anything that's on people's mind, and call and complain or what have you. We talked about today, we got water lines going in that we approved last fall on several county roads, and in Hurricane Hills, we're just about ready to start that project. So when we get these projects done over the next 3 or 4 months, we'll have the majority of the Nelson County will have city water, which is one of our goals coming in. And there's not too many left out there that don't have it. Now, there is a few that's scattered out so far, it'd be detrimental as far as trying to help them provide it. But we just about got everybody that wants city water that have it. Same way with the internet. Now, that charter down in the south end, I think that project should be starting about any time. North Stillwell, South Stillwell, and there's several other individual roads, but they received the grant money. We put up $200,000 of the ARPA money on our end, and when we secured that grant, I think it was like $3 million something on it total. I'm not sure, but
and one thing kind of related to that is, of course, I'm in my first term as magistrate, and some of these conferences where we interact with magistrates from other counties and commissioners from other counties, I'm very pleased to find out, that Nelson County is situated in a pretty good spot. He mentioned the water and the internet, and even talking about paved roads. I'm amazed at how many counties in the state of Kentucky don't have near the paved road mileage that we do. They still have a lot of gravel roads, a lot of chip seal. Mm-hmm. And then on city water, there's a lot of counties where a large percentage of the county still does not have county water or internet. So, Nelson County is in a pretty good position, and when you're meeting with magistrates from around the state, you find out that there's some pretty good things that's been going on here, and I think we've been very fortunate to have cooperation with the other government entities and then the state as well. And he was talking about contacting the judge. I would like that everybody out there, it's important to know how to get a hold of your magistrate as well. And on the county website, the county fiscal court's Facebook page and website, all the magistrates' contact information's there. My cell phone number's well published. It's on my Facebook page, and it's available through the county Facebook page and the county website.
Yeah, I think our communication with the public is it's been really good, and everything we've tried to do and put all our reports on our website every month through every department. We've talked about that, so it's. If anybody don't know what's going on in this county, I mean, they either asleep or don't pay attention. That's kind of the way I think about it. I mean, we give out everything we can, so. We got another call, Ralph.
We got a caller on the line. Let's hope they're awake. Good morning, caller. Go ahead.
Yes, this is Joe Rice, and I'd like to speak with County Judge and Adam, please.
Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. How are y'all doing?
Really good. We're doing really well.
I was wondering, is there any interest in county government in kind of reining in Airbnbs?
Well, I think there is some, appetite for that. They, are you familiar with what they try to pass? What we talked about? You're not?
Well, I haven't heard of anything on that.
Well, the last 2 weeks especially, it's got pretty heated, and there was a bill that came through the House, I'm talking about the state, and it actually passed the House. The Airbnb lobbyist group and VRB, and there's several of them that's been pushing, trying to get, it's a zoning, basically a zoning thing, and local control, and I know my view is, and I think most people around, we would like to have more local control instead of the federal state control. And then we do have the zoning in Nelson County, which some counties don't have, but we have countywide zoning. And I think overall it's been good for the community. There is some, matter of fact, we talked about that today, trying to simplify some of the zoning policies, and we have already, since I've been here and since this fiscal court's been here, we're trying to simplify as many things as we can without watering it down too much, because you get in these property right issues. So there's a lot of things in there that you can talk about. But the Airbnbs, the House passed a bill that takes local control completely out. So it went to the Senate. The Senate previously turned it down. Then they added an amendment to a pool bill that they slipped in at the very end. And of course, a bunch of us, Senator Higdon, County Mastroni, and Mayor Heaton, myself, and just about anybody we had contacts with throughout the county and the state, we worked hard, and it did not pass, thank goodness. And it's going to come back up next year. You just get ready for it. So what it does is take local control out of it. Right now, they have to go through zoning to get passed. Now, it's a conditional use permit through the Board of Adjustments. The city of Bardstown already has some policies in place that they have to be so far apart and distance-wise. The county, they proposed that to the county before I got here about 2.5 years, about 3 years ago, I guess. And that particular fiscal court turned it down because they thought it was too regulatory. Probably it'll come back up to the county here with the new zoning administrator we got, because when you get out in the county, when it's spread out a little bit more, but as of today, we can still have local control over it. But that's the history on it and where it's at. And now you still live on Sullivan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any out that way or not, but I've had some complaints about, and I don't have personally, people's got to make a living, do what they want to do, but the problem we've had is, in a lot of cases, is the out-of-town people, and I'm not going to just pick on anybody, but Texas, California, where have you, they see these places come up online. Nelson County, Bardstown is such a popular place with tourism and people visiting, and the Bourbon Trail, so it's an opportunity to make money, and they come in and just dial in, they got an attorney, and they buy a piece of property sight unseen, and the locals don't have any opportunity to buy it, and the price is usually a lot higher. Now, it depends on if you're selling or buying, it depends on where you're at on your end, so That's where the policy is at today.
Well, my concern is it's a business. Because people are doing it to make a profit. You're not living in it. They're making a profit. And a business ought to be a business zoning in a business zoning area. And another thing is everybody is complaining about there's a lack of housing for local people.
Oh, yeah.
Affordable housing. And you take a young couple trying to start out, there is no affordable housing.
I agree
they can't
with
afford
you.
what's going on. And then they're in a hole because they're having to pay rent or live with their parents. Well, how are you going to ever get ahead when you're paying rent comparable to a mortgage payment?
Mm-hmm.
So,
it's widespread. Yeah, I agree with it's widespread. I mean,
yeah. And
Adam just had one in his district. He called me about it about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
Airbnb that somebody proposed, and they, based on the language today, the Board of Adjustments passed it, and I think they have. I don't know if they adopted a policy, an unwritten policy, that I don't believe that they're passing any in what I call a subdivision setting because of the density, I think, part of it. But we'll be looking into it. We've discussed it. We'll be looking into it, and
well, I talked to the Board of Adjustments, and they said it basically boils down to the magistrates.
Well, they tell you that. But what they don't tell you is that Board of Adjustments decisions cannot be appealed to fiscal court. The conditional use permits are not able to be overridden by fiscal court, so magistrates don't really have a say-so. Now, we can have a say-so in changing the rules, but typically you don't know what rule needs to be changed until something's already messed up.
Yeah, what he's getting at, Joe, is if you go back to the matter of fact, we talked about it today about upgrading and simplifying and rewriting some of the zoning policies and regulations that needs to be done, and make some of them tougher, some of them easier, but put common sense is what I told them today in court. I want more common sense applied to everything we do, and and I don't know what exact comment they make when you talk to your magistrate. Like Adam said, when you have a zoning issue come up, a full-fledged zoning, they approve or deny, then the applicant or the citizens or the neighbors can come back to the fiscal court, then we can approve or deny, then it goes to circuit court. Board of Adjustments, everything that goes through the Board of Adjustments, approve or deny, they come to the public hearings, they do all the proper things. But if it is approved or denied, they don't come to fiscal court. And that's KRS 100. It's in the statute. And it bypasses the fiscal court, which I don't agree with. I prefer, you still there, Joe?
Yeah.
I would prefer everything come to the fiscal court and we make the final decision. But the way the statute is, it bypasses the magistrates and the court and goes directly to circuit court if somebody wants to challenge it. But we can, like he said, we can rewrite some of the rules, policies, regulations, and again, we talked about it in court today. We're looking into it.
Well, I know contractors, your lawnmowers, your plumbers, your electricians, your home repair people. They benefit because they have to maintain it. Now, out-of-town owners, they're landlords, absentee landlords, and they're reaping the benefit. Neighbors have to put up with the extra traffic and also increased values because people are buying out of state sight unseen. So a lot of people benefit, but I hate to see, and I think Bardstown City has already done it.
Yep.
It's turned into a tourist destination, and who wants to live in one of those things?
Yep.
So just after this conversation, my first response is to adjust the rules is to address out-of-state, non-resident owners. And that's something we need to look at.
Yeah, it's, when it comes to, I don't think you can, regulate out of town versus in town. I mean, it's a tough one to do, but we are looking into it, and I appreciate the call, and anytime else you want to call on that, because I've known you for years, and I appreciate your input.
Well, I appreciate you taking my call.
All right.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good day.
See you. Thank you.
All righty. We have a couple of texts that have come in, so I'm going to do both of them and cover them both. I think you may mention it may have been spoken of this morning, but the Veterans Park that's being constructed, the bricks, those are, I guess, the honorary bricks with name, are at $150. Says, how come Thomas Nelson High School offers their alumni and seniors bricks, I'm assuming at their school, at $30, and they're basically the same way? This text says they believe the $150 is a little expensive, especially for the veterans that fought for us and our freedom.
I think they've got a.
It's a fundraising mechanism.
I don't necessarily say the bricks have to have a veteran's name on it. I think you can put in name of. Again, that's not part of the Nelson Fiscal Court. You'd have to talk to the Veterans Park Committee. They've got these granite, monuments that they're putting all the veterans' names on, and that's at no cost. You know, they're not charging you or me or whoever to put the name on there. A lot of them's deceased or whatever, and it's recognition and memory of what they've done for this country and this community, and there'll be thousands and thousands of them on there now. And everything they're doing up there to date, or I'm going to say 95% of everything done is private money that they've raised. So the fiscal court has no bearing on their policies or what they do. The bricks, like Adam said, it's a fundraiser, and we do them at St. Gregory's. Like I said, Thomas Nelson does them. This group here is doing them, and it's they can establish the amount they want. And you go out in front of the old courthouse where I'm at, you got name bricks all over the place, and at some point, I don't know if it went to the tourism or they got the money, so the money goes to a project, and that's why the price is what it is, and they have established that.
But as you pointed out, the names that will go on these monuments that's at no charge. Are they still continuing to try to get those names? They've been at the library for a while.
Yeah, and then that part has ended, but if anybody else that didn't get their information in, if they contact one of the members there, they can get them taken
I had somebody ask me yesterday if I was
they've had all kinds of groups going around getting names and history and everything. It's been really good. So that's the answer to the question. I've been trying to avoid, but they can call that board or whoever's ahead. I don't know if there's a name ahead of that or not, but you got another one?
Yeah, the text says, I live in the Champlin, and when we have weather like we've had, the extreme rains, it seems impossible to get to Bardstown due to flooded roads. Do you know if Old Tunnel Mill Road floods? That's the only way, this person says, they haven't tried to get here when it was, here being Bardstown, when it was flooding.
What was the comment again?
When trying to have trouble.
Mill Road?
Yeah, I'm very familiar with it.
Okay, does it flood is what the basic...
Does water get over the road when there is a flash flood is what they're asking, I guess. So I can't answer that, but I will find out.
There is a spot in that road that dips down, and if there were debris issues or heavy rain, I can say that there could possibly be water over there, but I don't know that it would be a very long withstanding time frame.
I really don't. I can't really answer that I've got pictures, and matter of fact, we got to do a flood report for the Lincoln Trail Area Development District on what roads have flooded, and they're trying to fix drainage issues, and it's a ongoing process, but I don't know. You don't have a number there I can contact back?
I do. But we'll probably get it to you.
Yeah, I'll get the number. Whoever this is,
That'd be a good question for Brad.
We'll send you a text back and let you know that. As soon as I get off here, I'll send it to you today. And it's like, say, Wednesday, they're talking about some heavy rains coming in, flooding, and, you're always going to have these, just for the public to know, you got, when you analyze and design and build, and everybody kind of uses the 100-year rain, it's kind of what they use go by. But when you have what they call a 1,000-year rain, or maybe not even 1,000 years, but when you have that, you cannot physically and build everything for what I call that type of rain. If you did, your tax would be so high it'd be crazy. You'd have to replace every bridge and pipe in the community to overcome that. So, as time goes, every year in the state and the county, you try to address the problems and fix them, and then I think overall we're in pretty good shape, but you know it's an ongoing process.
Yeah, but just one word of caution on that particular issue. You know, they're talking about from Wednesday to Sunday a potential of 6 to 10 inches of rain. That's a lot of rain. The ground's already saturated. We're going to have some trees that probably wouldn't have fallen that will fall, and other issues. But also keep in mind when you're driving through water on the road, think about all the times you've looked at after that water goes down, the blacktop is gone. And if you go driving through that, you're risking your life and whoever's life is in that vehicle with you. Please be careful.
All right, the text is 502-348-2222. I don't have any there. And the phone call, same number if you want to speak. Other items on fiscal court this morning?
Well, yeah, we had a lot of subjects on there today. So had a cemetery preservation committee came in. I asked them to come in. We appointed that committee about 3, 4, 5 months ago, and fiscal court approved all the different names and asked them. It's the first time we've had one in the county, and what their purpose. How many cemeteries did say they had, Adam? You remember?
Oh, I don't know, dozens of them.
No, it was over 100.
Yeah, it's a bunch of them. And they also mentioned that they do need some things to help them, some items, and they're not set up where they can take donations, but they would take help as far as cleaning up, fencing supplies, and if anybody has a cemetery that they would like to see looked at, if they contact the judge's office, they can put them in touch with that committee.
Because many of these are on, these are family
private,
cemeteries.
a lot of them are on private property, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And the property owners maintain some rights there, a bunch of rights, and because we want to protect their rights as well.
Just visited the one on my in-laws' farm past weekend to see a little Clary's grave.
220. I just got a text. There's 220 cemeteries that we know of in the county. That's a lot. And a lot of them in the city. We addressed one today that they were discussing, and Rhonda Watson is the chairman of the committee, and they got a passion for it, and they're active, and there's a 501c that they're establishing, and then there's some state policies trying to raise money. They need some money, and eventually we'll get it help. We're helping them set that up, and where they can get some people. There's a lot of people that donate to these cemeteries. There's no doubt about it.
My wife is in charge, and her family's in charge of the Woodlawn Poplar Flat Cemetery.
Yeah,
it's privately ran. They pay the mowing, any maintenance and road issues and everything else. They're expensive to keep up.
Yeah, just the mowing. So this group's going to be really. That preserves, the history and people's loved ones and so on. So that's another good asset to the community, and that'll grow and continue. We'll see more activity, and then we also had, I told you earlier, I think Gary Bishop come in and update us on the recycling that we're doing across the county and the city, working with the Guthrie Center. So that's an ongoing process, and it'll be a moving project. We want to try to get as many people to recycle as possible, and that's kind of one of our main goals. Is even though it's a revenue loss in most cases, but it's good for the community, and we're trying to get more of that done. So we had Gary come in today, and then I had Jerry James talk about the Veterans Park today. So I have three good subjects we approved. Finally got a final approval today on our roadway design standards and subdivision regulations. About a year ago, I proposed all this to the fiscal court, and we did what I call we passed it at our level, and then there's a statute that basically subdivision regulations have to go through the planning commission, and which I knew that. So we'll make sure that we was all clear on everything that we wanted, and we sent it back to the planning commission, and they've had public hearings. Brad Spalding and I, because I've had some background in this development, and we did about at least 5 or 6, 7 counties around us trying to see what's good, what's bad. What we adopted today, the private road agreements in here, private road policies, making sure people who get the private road will have water, and internet on the new ones. They'll have they can get more tracks on the private road now, where it used to be 3 and or 5, now to be 5 and or 7. So they'll build a better road. The standards will be stronger, and then on the subdivisions, actually some of the roads will be narrowed a little bit. It'll save the county hundreds of thousands of dollars in resurfacing. Well, I got it set up that long term, so the resurfacing side, we can take some more of that money and put on traditional county roads versus subdivision streets. So it's going to save the community hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. It'll be, I'm talking about over a 20-year span, maybe up to close to $1 million, the way I figured it. And I worked with the city. They was concerned when I first proposed this, the city of Marshtown. I worked out all of our differences with them on our, because they usually provide the sewer and water in a lot of cases, and if they're going to be annexing a subdivision that's close to them, we worked out all those policies and had a good meetings with them. So got our final approval today, and that's going to be the average person will not see that behind the scenes, but that's going to be a lot better for the community and save us a lot of money long term. We got that passed today. The delinquent payment ordinance, anybody, we final approval of that today. We passed that. It's, I've been, you heard me talk about garbage. It's been a hot topic. Hundreds of thousands of dollars that we're still over trying to collect. We found out there's more out there that the people that owe the county for different things, encroachment fees or roll-off boxes. And by this ordinance being passed that, I don't want to make it hard on anybody, but you need to pay your bills. We will always work with you, but if you owe for something, you're not getting a permit, or you're not getting a dumpster, or, we're going to make it, we're cracking down on this heavily. It's a lot of money out there, and it's not fair to all the rest of us paying these, only paying our taxes and everything. So passed that today too, which is really, that's a pretty strong language, but everybody needs to pay their way and help out. It's not fair for the rest of us. We bid out, we're going to rebid the old courthouse renovation, remodeling, and HVAC. That'll be running some ads on that. Had some magistrates want to rebid that, so we're going to do that. And then we're also working on some industrial property. We've been in executive session over that, but we're trying to find some property for industrial prospects. We've got some people starting to call and looking, and eventually we'll have some more factories want to come in here, and we got to make sure we got the land for that. So, Adam, anything else on there that I missed? We've had a lot of stuff today.
Sounds good. I did get several messages that the people that are listening that wanted to wish my wife a happy birthday again, and one person said that the judge didn't let me talk enough.
Yeah, that'd be hard. That'd be a tough one. Yeah. Well, you can talk right now. You got 5 minutes. Talk all you want. Yeah, I think next week, I'm not sure who I'll bring, Ralph. I'll have either a department head or another magistrate or whatever, see what they want to discuss, and try to do more of this every week. So, Adam, anything else you want to hit on that we missed?
No, I just like to say, I'm in my first term as magistrate, going into the third year, and I've learned a lot, and there's still a lot more to learn. We're a $30 million budget, and our job is basically to finance and run things to the best of our ability, and manage. The judge manages most of the employees. We got like 225 county employees, and it's a big business, and it's an interesting job.
Yeah, we got a lot going on. The other one thing, I don't know if I mentioned this talked about that earlier, fairgrounds, agri-science and agri-tourism, and I brought that up today again, and pushing that project forward. And eventually, when we talk about these projects in the baseball complex, I told you that last week, I think, it takes a lot of work and time and trying to design and get to where we need to be at, and then you got to find the money, after that. So, but you got to do a lot of planning, and you got to spend a little bit of money on the front end to see where, before you go in and do these big projects, you got to know exactly what the cost is going to be. So that's what we're attempting to do, and there is a lot of work behind the scenes, but it's okay. That's what we got elected to do.
Mm-hmm. Judge, and Adam, there's terminology called PP projects, public-private projects. And is that being looked at or considered for maybe something like the fairgrounds where there
Oh,
might be
absolutely. There's a lot of public input and a lot of entities and moving
Private
parts.
entities.
Correct. Yeah, a lot of parts.
Well, we brought that up today. I think Brad Metcalf mentioned that a little bit when we was talking about our industrial, maybe a proposed industrial park. And there's some counties and around the state's the state's got some stronger language and policies that we can do, work with these partnerships like you said. We're going to look at every option, and it may save the investor money and his interest on bonding and taxes, and then help the county out on the cash flow side, because it takes a lot of cash flow to do anything. So
Everything costs a lot of money. That's one of the eye-opening things of this job, is that everything costs money and it's got to come from somewhere.
And as one of the callers mentioned, the sad part is inflation is, it impacts certain people worse than the others. The home prices, rental numbers, really make it hard for that person to be that first-time home buyer, or even to live in a house, rent or own. And you roll most of that calls back to inflation.
well, this last 4 years,
It impacts your guys in your budget.
Right.
So,
it costs for everything by everybody. That what just look at all the reports. The interest that's went up and inflation's went up in the last 4 years. It's just astronomical, and then you can blame it on whoever or whatever you want to blame it on, but it's there, and now we got to deal with it and try to get it corrected, hopefully. And but like I said here before, county government's in the same boat. I mean, we got to buy these high dollar tires and salt and equipment, and like I said last week, $165,000 garbage trucks, now $265,000. So everything we do, it touches us the same way, and that's the real reason. That's like I told you about this health department, trying to cut whatever I can cut. We've saved a lot of money on different departments and eliminated a lot of waste, and went self-insured on the health insurance, and just trying to be more frugal and just watching what we're doing. So but it's okay.
It's times.
It's a lot of challenges, and that's what we're here for.
we are finished for today, and we'll be back next Tuesday morning right here for Around the County.
Joe Hill's Power Sports. Again, you're going to run that ad here shortly, so everybody will know. Thank you for that, and thank you, Adam and Roth.
Yep. Thank you.
Until next Tuesday.